Howdy folks, thank you for clicking on the video. Welcome to the channel. As always, I appreciate you stopping by. Yes, finally, where is it? It's right here. We get to give 2020 the boot right out the door. And we're all happy about that because this has been a dumpster fire of a year. I think we can all agree. But it's almost over. It's New Year's Eve. There's just a few hours remaining. Let's all just pray that 2021 is a better year, brings us back to some semblance of normalcy, sanity, whatever you want to call it. Because it's been a hard year. And I've been fairly lucky, and I am very grateful. I didn't get put out of work. I know a lot of people have, and my heart goes out to you if you lost your job because of all this. Okay, this is a guitar channel, so I'm just going to speak. I don't want to diminish any other line of work, any other area, but this is about music and guitars and gear. And let's face it, a lot of people have been hit pretty hard. If you're a gigging musician, your livelihood depends on, playing those live gigs, playing whether it's a bars, clubs, or you're an opening act, or all the way up. I mean, I guess if you're a headliner, you're probably at a point in your career where you may have money in the bank. I know some don't. Let's face it. When it comes to the music industry, and specifically the live music industry, a lot of people have been hit pretty hard. And not just the musicians, the engineers and producers and concert promoters and venue owners and the people who work at those venues, whether you're the one who takes the tickets or serving the drinks or all of those people, well, they've been hit pretty hard. As somebody who enjoys what they provide for us as far as the entertainment, the enjoyment that we seek out. Personally, I would appreciate it. There are a number of organizations, let's just say organizations that have been set up and designed to help out these folks who have been, well, let's face it, decimated by the events of this past year. They haven't been able to work. They haven't been able to the artists haven't been able to tour and play their gigs. They make their living doing that, and this has been taken away from them. So I don't want to mention any one specific charity because there are a number, and I don't want to leave anyone out. But do a little due diligence. Go out there, find an organization that's helping these guys out. Because let's face it, when all this is done, we want these guys back. We want them back on the stage. We want them entertaining us. We want the people who support them supporting them so they can entertain us. So please, if you have it in your ability, and I know not everybody does, but if you do, find one of these organizations. Let's try to help some of these struggling musicians out. Because we always see the high profile people, and let's face it, they got some big bank accounts. But a lot of the people, when we go to a bar, when we go to a club, the musicians you're seeing there, generally they don't fall into that category, and they're probably hurting pretty bad right now. So let's think about them as we kick this horrible year out the door, and hopefully we can get them back on that stage in 2021. Now, That's the downside of 2020. Surely there couldn't possibly be any positives you can find in the events of the past year. Well, yeah, there actually are. And yeah, I'm a grumpy guy, but part of what the way I combat the grumpiness, I do try to look at positives. So, what were the positives of 2020? For one thing, for gear manufacturers, it's not been a bad year because a lot of us have been stuck at home. And when you're stuck at home, well, let's face it, you get bored. And when you get bored, what do? If you're a guitar player, well, you buy gear. That's not all bad, right? Well, a lot of people have bought gear this year. I think Fender reported that they're having record sales. They're selling a ton of guitars. A lot of the manufacturers are, and I think that's a positive because specifically a lot of that new gear when it comes to guitars has been not necessary. We're not talking the custom shop Fenders or Gibsons or the high dollar. No, they've been the entry level stuff. It doesn't take a genius to figure out. People who are buying the entry level stuff, well, they're entry level guitar students. They're not even guitar players yet. They're people who want to learn. Why is this a good thing? Well, because not all of them will end up actually learning and playing. A lot of them will just kind of get frustrated with it and set it aside. But I'm betting that there's going to be a higher number of people who actually stick with it. And who knows? In a year or two or maybe three, we could see a renaissance in guitar-oriented music. I'm trying to look to the positive. I think I won't bet the farm, but I'll bet the tractor that in 2 or 3 years, you're going to see a ton of really good guitar players start to emerge. That's my hope anyway. And it could be, like I said, a renaissance in guitar-oriented music. The more guitar players we have out there, the more chance we're going to have, maybe the next Eddie Van Halen, Jimi Hendrix, who knows? Who knows what could come out of this? I'm hoping something really good because out of all of this, there's got to be something good that comes. But that said, it's the end of 2020. There's a new year coming ahead. And, well, for me, I started this channel. What am I talking about? What good came out of 2020? Well, I started this channel back, what was it, March? Now, I don't know that that's actually, you may consider that a bad thing. But, for me, I'll always remember this year as the year that I decided to step outside of my comfort zone and start a YouTube channel. There is that. And, well, now, coming to the end of this year, I've got to decide what I want to do with this channel. And I've got some things in mind. So, well, let's talk about that. So, what's in store for 2021? Well, I don't know. Sadly, I had to put my crystal ball in the shop. I thought it might be a bad 6L6. or two, a couple of the power tubes. It turns out they called, they said it needed to be completely recapped. And I then said, well, while you're at it, go ahead and add a master volume to it. But it's not ready yet. So I don't know. I don't know what's coming up for 2021 in the big picture. However, let's talk about the Grumpy Mike channel. I got some plans. I do. My first thought for my very first video was simply to make a video acknowledging people who had subscribed to a non-existent channel. I had a YouTube account. I signed up. I had my account. I watched videos. I never even thought about making them and posting them. There were a brave few. I think there were around somewhere between 18 and 20 people who had subscribed, and I'm thoroughly convinced these are probably the finest human beings that have ever walked the face of the earth. But I don't know. But nonetheless, the more I thought about actually making a video, I kind of got interested in well, how do you do that, and how do you make it, look like a fairly decently produced video. And I swear to you, one day I will actually learn how to do that. But that's what this is all about. And as a vehicle, I'm using my passion, which is guitars. Guitars are what this channel is about, but I hope it serves to entertain. And therefore, I've been doing some planning, and I have some ideas for things in the upcoming year. And I just briefly want to tell you about that. And by the way, folks, stick around to the end, because I'm at least going to do something that I think will be kind of fun, or at least show you a little something you might be interested in. Something I haven't shown on the channel before. Just a little tidbit of something you might see in the upcoming future. But I do want to make this channel better. I'm actually sinking a little bit of my hard-earned money into it to further that goal. And I just want to let you in on what's going on. And I think the most important thing is just less than a week ago, I went ahead and I placed the order for another Lumix G85. That's what you're watching me on right now, is a Lumix G85 that I bought specifically just to start this channel. And I've been feeling the need for a second camera, because let me tell you, trying to use a smartphone as camera 2 has proven to me to, you know those special white jackets with the extra long sleeves? Because I was starting to feel like I needed one. Trying to use my smartphone as camera number 2. So I went ahead and I sprang for another G85, and hopefully that's going to improve the quality of the videos in the future, having a second angle, and who knows, I may still use the smartphone for a third angle, but it'll be a third angle that I'm not going to get extremely angry and start cursing because that video didn't work out, which has happened quite a lot since I started this channel. So that hopefully will improve the channel. and I've been working on some ideas for some features on the channel. Number one, I think at some point, I'm not sure exactly when, hopefully fairly early in the year 2021, I want to go ahead and at least do a monthly viewer question and answer comments. But I get some great comments, and let me just take this opportunity to say thank you, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, to everyone who's commented. You guys have been great. You've been very, very, very supportive of what I've been doing, and it makes me want to keep doing it. That's why I'm continuing to do it. I haven't had a whole lot of bad experience with, you know, the people who try to be, I'm not even going to use the word because I'm trying not to curse on this channel, but you know the folks I'm talking about. I haven't had a lot of jerks in the comments. Maybe one or two guys that, actually there's only one that I can think of, and he really wasn't that bad. It's just kind of a snobbish attitude about budget guitars. But other than that, everybody in the comments have been great. So, but yeah, I figure probably starting sometime in this next year, there will be, and you'll know what they are because I already know. If you've seen me in the chats, if anytime I do a super chat, there's something I always say, and it's kind of my motto in life, and that's simply, and why not? So if you see a video here before too long that's titled "And Why Not," that will be a viewer question and comment kind of video. So that'll be coming up here. I'll still be buying gear. I'll still be showing you the gear that I buy. As I said before, a lot of new guitar players out there. I don't even know if I can be of service to these folks, but there's a bunch of things I've picked up over the years, so that could be very helpful to a new guitar player, and who knows, maybe even somebody who's been playing for a long time and certain things that they just never thought about. So I guess helpful hints and tips, stuff like that coming up. I do have a sense of humor. I've kind of been slowly letting that out. If you saw my I guess it's my most recent video, how to get a guitar out of a whiskey bottle. I hope to also maybe do some things that might make you chuckle a little bit. I want to do my best to try to at least come up with something, if not a new item, or, you know, that you've never heard of, at least a fresh take on it, or a different view of it. So that's my goal coming up here. 2021 will be the year that I finally get started working on my new studio space. I had to put it on hold. The plan from the beginning of this channel, I had plans to build out another area of the homestead here as my permanent studio, and it didn't happen, mostly because of, you know, that thing. 2021, I'm gonna make it happen. There will be a brand new studio, and hopefully the quality of the videos will look better because of it. So that's coming up. So I think that covers just about everything. And before I go, I told you I would try to do something a little special at the end. I've got probably more guitars than I deserve to own, and you've seen some of them on the channel, but you haven't seen all of them. I figured I would show you at least one or two of my guitars that you have yet to see on the channel. So without further ado, let's start with guitar number one. The first guitar making its debut appearance here on the channel is a guitar that I've had actually for a little while. When I got it, I actually traded some ham radio gear for it. And I had never even heard of the brand. I knew nothing about the guy whose name was on the headstock, other than, I mean, I had heard the name. I just didn't know anything about him. And I didn't know that he was a YouTube creator. So maybe that gives you a little bit of a hint. All I know is I figured I can't go wrong. I've got some ham radio gear lying around. I'll trade it for this guitar. If it's kind of crappy, I'll work on it, see if I can make it better. But ultimately, I got the guitar in my hands, and I didn't really have that much to work on. And so, what am I talking about? Maybe you've guessed it already. If you haven't, let's just say some people, there's been maybe some negative stuff on the internet about him, stuff that I generally I don't even want to listen to, because guitars are what I turn to get away from negativity. That guitars are what keep me from being grumpy. Um, all I know is I kind of like the guy. I've since started watching his stuff on YouTube. But when I got the guitar in my hands, I was actually kind of impressed with it. You've probably already guessed it. It's a Chapman. There you go. I know the lighting's kind of strange here, but and this is an ML3 Modern. It's the lower end, the budget line of the Chapman guitars. It's not the higher end, which even those aren't really all that expensive when you consider some of the other stuff. But all I know is it's a beautiful guitar. I think I got a good deal out of the trade. Uh, and I've enjoyed playing this guitar an awful lot. Obviously, it's a sort of a T-style body with a couple of humbuckers in it, and I don't know a whole lot about the pickups in here. I guess they're a Chapman, um, whatever they consigned to go into the guitar. It's a hardtail, volume tone, three-way switch, reverse headstock. Uh, Actually, the tuners on this guitar are not bad. I've never had any issues at all with the tuners. And it's a beautiful guitar with the faux binding, the wood grain faux binding here. Oh, excuse me. Overall, the aesthetic of this guitar is really nice. It's a very lightweight guitar, but it's not, it doesn't feel like a feather in your hand. I want to feel like I'm holding a guitar. I don't want to feel like I'm holding a pillow. So for me, the weight of this guitar is actually very nice. A satin neck that is smooth as it can be. It's not super chunky, but it's not ultra thin. Bolt-on neck, string through construction here. Overall, it's a really nice guitar. I enjoy it. I'm pretty sure here in the new year you'll probably start seeing this thing in some videos. So there it is, my Chapman ML3 Modern. So what's up next? Guitar number 2 is a guitar that I bought because I couldn't afford the guitar that I wanted. And the guitar I wanted is, well, the ultimate one that I want. I'll take any of them, but the one that I really want is a 1963 Gibson ES335. Why? Because I love ES335s, and because 1963 is my birth year, and to have a birth year 335, I don't know what that really means. I just think it would be cool to have one. But ultimately, I love 335s. And why? Well, because probably my very first guitar hero was Alvin Lee. Alvin Lee is the guy who inspired me to want to play guitar. And I've been a fan ever since. And I've always, ever since, wanted a 335. They're kind of pricey. Even the standard models, they're kind of pricey, kind of out of my range. So what are you to do? Well, for me, my solution was this guitar. It's a D'Angelico. It's their version. Let me get it in some decent light. With that really, either you love it or you hate it, that D'Angelico headstock. But it's their take on a 335. And it's a fantastic playing guitar. I like it a lot. I love playing it. It plays like a dream. It's the premier model. It's not the upper end. Again, just like with the Chapman, it's the more budget friendly range of this model, but nonetheless, it plays beautifully. It just feels comfortable. The neck, I like it a lot. Very reminiscent of a, maybe a little thinner than a Gibson neck, but not by too terribly much, I don't think, at least not to my feel. And the binding looks good. It's just a gorgeous guitar. The trapeze, they really deck these things out nicely. What can I say? There you have it. A couple of guitars that you have not seen on the channel to this point. And I promise before you know it, every guitar is going to make an appearance. But until then, we've got a new year to ring in, and I want to wish every single one of you the best and happiest of New Year's. No matter what you do, just do it safely. Don't do anything I wouldn't. Oh wait, let me take that back, because I would probably do something stupid. So don't do what I would do. But I do want you to have a very good new year. I hope to see you in the new year. I hope you'll come around, check out the new videos I've got coming out. With that said, I would hope and humbly request that you click the button below, subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. Certainly comment. I want to hear what you have to say. Any suggestions you have, I'm open to them. Anything you'd like me to know about or like me to answer, I'm always more than willing to do so. And maybe even, share the videos. All that good stuff said, Happy New Year's, everybody. And, well, be good. Let's all just be good. Take care.